man who quit his own audience. The story of Kraut and Tea. There's a strange thing that happens to people who get famous online for being angry. Eventually, most of them either lean into it forever or they burn it out in public and it becomes a whole saga. The meltdown video, the apology, the I'm taking a step back era that really never ends. Joseph Lanchester didn't do either one of those things. He built an audience by tearing people apart, and then at the height of his relevance, he just stopped. Quietly swapped it out for videos about the history of Prussia and animated crunchies arguing with each other. This is the story of Kraut and Tea, and what it actually means to outgrow the thing that made you, you. Start with what he was before anyone knew the name Kraut. Joseph Lanchester is an Anglo-Austrian. He started his channel in December 2015 at what turned out to be exactly the right cultural moment to be a sharp, articulate, voice-picking fights online. 2016 was a breakout year. It happened almost by accident. He made a video responding to an Islamic YouTuber's take on the Orlando nightclub shooting. When the bigger channel, Mr. Epstein, mirrored it, Kraut's audience jumped overnight. This is worth pausing on, because it's the same mechanism that built half the commentary YouTube video ecosystem in that era. You don't need an algorithm to boost you if a channel bigger than you points at you first. Attention is the currency, and in 2016, articulate guide dismantling a bad argument was extremely fundable content. From there, the brand solidified fast. Criticism of SJWs, feminists, Islam. He got adopted into what were called the skeptic community, a loose, somewhat self-appointed alliance of YouTubers positioning themselves as the rational counterweight to identity politics on both the right and the left. Here's where our story takes a slight turn and it gets more interesting. Then guy makes edgy videos, guy gets popular. By 2017, the skeptic coalition Kraut belonged to began to cannibalize itself, because that's what ideologically loose alliances built on being against something always eventually do. Once a common enemy stops being enough glue, everyone starts to eat each other and over what they actually believe. Kraut ended up on the side that pushed back against the outright drift happening inside his own community. He publicly flagged a contributor, Rage After Storm, to a blog she wrote for over her increasingly race-rulist content. That set up a genuine firestorm. She lost her platform. He got branded by his own followers, allies as a snitch, a sellout, and someone who broke the community's unwritten rules. Then came the Discord server leaks in December 2017. Private conversations from inside his server spilling out into the wider drama ecosystem, adding another layer of commentary community eats itself. Content that, frankly, could be its own video. The point isn't to relegate who was right. The point is, this is what happens to almost every internet figure who builds an identity around being the reasonable one fighting the unreasonable one. Eventually, the reasonable ones are inside the tent, and you have to pick a side. And picking a side costs you part of your audience, no matter which side you pick. And here's where Kraut makes a quiet exit. And this is the part of the story that actually makes Kraut unusual. Most creators in these positions do one of the two things: double down, become a full-time cultural combatant, or have a very public, very monetized breakdown about how toxic the space has become. Kraut did neither. From mid-2019 onward, he essentially stopped making commentary content and pivoted almost without ceremony into long-form history and geography essays, including the country pop animated format. Nations personified as little animated blobs, narrating centuries of European history with actual research behind it. That's a genuinely strange career pivot if you think about it. It's the equivalent of a boxer retiring undefeated to become a museum curator. He has the audience. He has the algorithm momentum of a guy who knows people in arguments. And he walked away from the part of that platform and was working financially for him to do the part that clearly interested him intellectually. Here's the thesis I want to leave with you, because I think it's bigger than just one YouTuber. The commentary and outrage economy on this platform runs on a renewable resource. Your willingness to be defined by what you're against. It's incredibly effective at building an audience fast, and it's almost always a trap long term, because the algorithm always rewards conflict more than rewards curiosity, and eventually those things pull you in opposite directions. Most people who get good at conflict never make the turn back towards curiosity, because the audience they built doesn't necessarily want to come with them. Kraut made that turn. Not all of its audience followed. A decent chunk of people liked guy who eats those bad arguments, and had zero interest in guy who narrates the Congress of Vienna of your cartoon countries. But the one who stayed got something more durable than outrage content: actual craft, actual research, a creator who creates his own subject and more patience than the platform usually rewards. That's the trade. And it's rare enough that it's worth talking about. So the next time you see a YouTuber blow up off the back of a fight, ask what happens after. Most of them leave the arena. Kraut's a rare case study in someone who did and almost kept his channel alive doing it. If you want more of these creators who took a hard, unexpected turn and either got rewarded and punished for it, that's basically the through line of his channel. Subscribe if that's your thing.